What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another Prize Picks video for you for Monday, February 27th, 2023. We got 4 games on the NBA slate to talk about. Super small slate compared to what we've been seeing these past few days. This video will serve as our early look and research video where we're not locking in any plays. Honestly, we're just looking through some game logs, going over some stats, trying to identify some positive game environments and areas to attack. And then in our final look video, that's where we narrow it down and really make decisions on who we're going to play and why we're going to play those props. So, as always, I hope this video finds you doing well and in good spirits. And without further ado, let's kick it off and talk about the Detroit Pistons and Charlotte Hornets. So currently on the Prize Picks board, we have 4 Hornets and no Pistons. And honestly, these are the 4 Hornets that I have my eyes on. And it's like a good and bad thing because all these props are probably going to be in play. However, with a fully healthy Hornets team now, because Oubre is back in the mix, Gordon Hayward's playing at a higher level, the emergence of Mark Williams and LaMelo and Rozier have been doing their thing all season. It's a little harder to narrow down like who you want to play, but we'll worry about that in the final look video. Let's pull up the last time these two teams met, and let me just find that game log. There it is. All right, so these two teams met back on February 23rd, so like 20 days ago, 3 weeks ago. And we can see where this production on the Detroit Pistons side came from. And honestly, currently, I'll share some stats with you. Detroit plays at the 15th fastest or slowest pace in the NBA, averaging 101 possessions per game. 25th in the NBA in rebound rate, 23rd in turnover ratio, meaning a large percentage of their possessions wind up in a turnover versus a score. And then 29th in the NBA in points allowed, giving up 116 per game. Actually held Charlotte underneath that average, held them to 112. So let's look at where this production came from on the Detroit side. You had Bojan going for 21, Ivy going for 24. You have Beef, Stew, and Duran combining for almost 30 rebounds and over 20 points. Massive double-double between those two. Biggest difference for me is no Marvin Bagley. And I just wanted to share with you some stats about Marvin Bagley because I like him a lot tomorrow. And if we get news that Duran is sitting, I like him a lot more. Now, one thing about Marvin Bagley, you may not know this, but the Detroit Pistons paid him a lot of money when they signed him, and it was kind of like a head scratcher because you already had, Stewart. At the time, you had Sadiq Bey, and then you drafted Jalen Duran. So why are you signing Marvin Bagley to such a big contract? And when you sign someone to such a big contract like that, you almost have to play him. So they signed him with the intent on playing him, and when he does get his minutes, you can see what he did in 28 minutes versus the Raptors. 21 points in 18 minutes. The game against the Portland Trailblazers, he got hurt. But these are some of the games prior to getting hurt. So since joining this team back in November, so he didn't start with the team. He got signed in November. But double-digit points in a lot of these games. And also, he's grabbing, his fair share of boards. Against a team like Charlotte, though, that does give up production, two bigs, rebounds is a problem for him. Defending the paint and then giving up points is a big problem for the Charlotte Hornets. I think Bagley's in a good spot tomorrow. If we can get some good lines on his rebounds, points and rebounds, I'm very interested in that. Now, on the Charlotte side, usual suspects. You got LaMelo Ball, Rozier going off in this game. Gordon Hayward was, coming back from injuries, just kind of starting off. Didn't really put up a huge line. And then Plumlee was still on the team. So now there's no Plumlee, and now you have Mark Williams, who only played 1 minute in that game. So I think Mark Williams can give you 13 points plus 8-9 rebounds, maybe 10 rebounds. His rebound prop right now is set to 9.5 over on Prizepicks, but I just think a lot is in play. on the Charlotte side, it may get a little tough to narrow down that production with a healthy Oubre and Hayward and LaMelo and Rozier and Mark Williams. So we may have to make some tough decisions on who we want to play from this team and where we think the majority of that production is going to come from. But once all these props are released, this should honestly be a very fantasy-friendly game for us to attack. So I'm looking forward to attacking this game with these props once they're all on the board. Let's talk a little bit about the Boston and New York Knicks game next. All right, so I got the first game pulled up that was played back in November between these two teams, which seems kind of irrelevant now because they've already played a game since then. But let's just look and see if we can find any trends here. So top scorers on the Knicks: Randall, Barrett, and Brunson. You had Hartenstein filling in for the injured Mitchell Robinson. Cam Reddish, who's now in Portland, played 37 minutes, so we won't see him tomorrow. Emmanuel Quickly only got 13 minutes. And if you've listened to any of these videos in the past, you know that I'm big on Emmanuel Quickly when he gets the minutes. And we ever get a prop on him on Prizepicks, I always play the over on his first half because he just produces and he's a fast starter. On the Boston side, Jaylen Brown, who will not play in tomorrow's game, has already been scratched. So you have Jason Tatum, second leading scorer on this team. So where does this production from Jaylen Brown come from? It's going to go to Derek White and Marcus Smart, and then you'll see some more minutes for Brogdon and then Al Horford, who did not play in this game. So moving to the next game that these two teams played, most recent game back on January 26th. This was the game where Jaylen Brown got laughed at by Julius Randle on the free throw line, and it kind of went viral. So Jaylen Brown finished the game with 22 points, 9 boards, not playing tomorrow. Jason Tatum was the high scorer, 35 and 14. And then you had Robert Williams chipping in with almost a double-double. Derek White with 15 points. So no Marcus Smart in this game. So now this lineup looks like Jason Tatum, Derek White, Rob Williams, Marcus Smart, and probably Al Horford or Grant I don't know. They can go a bunch of different ways, but they're deep. So I do look for Derek White to pick up the slack in the absence of Jaylen Brown. So I already have an idea of where we want to go with this game or with this team. And then on the Knicks side, usual suspects: Jalen Brunson, Randall, and RJ Barrett. So now no Cam Reddish. You had Quentin Grimes filling in as a starter. Didn't really do much. You had Quickly, again, 17 points off the bench. When this guy gets minutes, he produces. Please give us a Quickly prop. I'm just waiting on that to happen. So usual suspects for the Knicks. So we kind of know where we want to attack the Boston side and who we want to attack it with. Randall, Brunson, and I'm going to put Quickly in there. That's just my personal preference. And then on the Boston side, Jason Tatum, Derek White, and then, sprinkle in a little bit of Brogdon and Rob Williams, Al Horford. So we'll see what the rest of these props look like when they drop. Currently, all we have are Robert Williams, Al Horford, Smart, and Tatum. And then you got Julius Randle, Brunson, and Mitchell Robinson. All right, next let's talk a little bit about the Orlando Magic versus the New Orleans Pelicans. All right, last time these two teams met was on January 20th. They played in Orlando. Orlando beat them up by 13. And we can see who scored and what went down in that game. Franz Wagner led it with 30 points, 6 and 9. And then Gary Harris with 15 points. Paolo Banchero had an off night. Wendell Carter Jr. an off night. And then Markelle Fultz, another kind of subpar night from those two guys. Reminds me of Saturday night where they didn't hit their props. Let's see, off the bench. No more Terrence Ross off the bench. No more Mo Bamba off the bench. So you got guys like Cole Anthony, Mo Wagner, Suggs. Probably going to see a lot of minutes tomorrow versus the Pelicans. And then on the Pelicans side, no Brandon Ingram in this game. So you had McCollum leading the way, Jonas putting up a big double-double, and then Trey Murphy sliding in as the third option with 18 and 6. Off the bench, you had Jose Alvarado giving you 17, and then Jackson Hayes, probably in garbage time, giving you 14 points off the bench. So looking at this game right now, I can already tell you I have a lot of interest in Brandon Ingram, a lot of interest in Markelle Fultz, and Franz Wagner. Now, Markelle Fultz did not have a terrible game on Saturday. He missed his fantasy score, but he hit his PRA. He gave us 18 points. He just did it in a terrible way where he got in a little bit of foul trouble. He was turning the ball over, and he really didn't turn it on until it was too late. Magic were already out of the game. So if we can get a Markelle Fultz who's shooting better sooner, we could be in for a nice line. And I always like attacking guys after they have a subpar game or a bad game. I love those bounce back spots, and a lot of players, a lot of bettors won't go back to those guys because they quote burn them unquote. I like going right back to them because their lines probably don't move a lot. They haven't moved a lot since then, so you can get them right at the same place you got them before, and more than likely they'll come through for you that second time. So that's just from my experience. You do not have to play Markelle Fultz. So let's look at the Prizepicks board in terms of what Orlando and New Orleans has up. And we got McCollum, Banchero, Ingram, Fultz, Jonas. We got the most players on the board. Like half the board is this game. So yeah, already a lot going on in this game here. And I like it. Again, we're not looking to make any decisions on who we want to play. But Markelle Fultz, 14.5 points. I mean, he's done it 4 out of 5 games. And points, rebounds, and assists for Markelle Fultz currently sits at... We don't have a line for Markelle Fultz there. What is available for Markelle Fultz? Just curious. Okay, just points. I like the points already. I can already tell you that right now. I like the points already. So, I didn't cover the Miami and Philadelphia 76ers because the last time these two teams met, at least the last game log I can find on StatMuse, was from the conference semifinals last year, and I'm not looking at the playoff game as an indicator of what's what in this game. Listen, we don't need a rocket scientist or a Nobel Peace Prize winner to tell us that Joel Embiid's in play, James Harden's in play, Butler, Bam Adebayo's in play. This is a big game for both of these teams. They have to win. This is a must-win, in my opinion, a must-win game for these two teams. Philadelphia is coming off a heartbreaker of a loss to Boston at home. They do not want to drop another game to an Eastern Conference foe. They just can't do it. So I look for Embiid and Harden to come out and, you can attack Miami by way of the 3. Harden needs to regain some of that form, that step back form. He had 20 points against Boston, but man, for the most part of that game, he just wasn't on. He seemed a little off to me. So I'm looking for that 29, 30 point performance from James Harden sprinkled in, with a few 3-pointers sprinkled in as well. So that's where we can attack this game. Obviously, more props will be released, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon at the time of making the final look video. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel, checking this video out, this early look and research video into Monday's little itty bitty 4-game slate. Just looking for some positive game environments, some possible areas to attack, just to kick off our research process. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I really appreciate the support, the comments, the likes, and the subs. Obviously, the subs mean a lot as well. Drop me a comment below letting me know who your favorite prop on this board is already, if there is one, and who you have your eyes on for tomorrow's 4-game slate. Also, let me know what you think about my early look and observations into these 4 games that we got ahead of us for Monday, February 27th. And until the final look video, Chavez is